shedding that cloak of invisibility. And my friend, Tammy Butler Robinson, agreed. Well, she said she's not answering my phone calls anymore at Reyes. But Tammy agreed to be our guest speaker today. Last year, you all might remember Lisa Pace from Bosma Enterprises, who was our lunch speaker and received rave reviews. So as Stephanie and I were talking with the planning committees, the bar was really high. And so we put our best thinking caps on and I thought, oh, who could do this? So always call on a pastor. Smiled in my career. So in addition to her day job of running engaging solutions like a boss, she also serves as a pastor at the House of God Church in Indianapolis, where she focuses on serving underserved populations. So she is a leader in her day job in the housing and community development space and has extensive public finance and state government experience, and which currently runs Engaging Solutions, which is one of our magnificently powerful minority-owned and woman-owned businesses in the city. So as we recruited Tammy, I started thinking back. I first worked with her on a co-chair gig for Bosma's Dining in the Dark, which serves people who are blind or visually impaired, and it's their gala fundraiser each year. So she and I have a shared passion in that space. And then I also recruited her to the board for Scouting America, formerly Boy Scouts of America, where she serves there as well. So she is now agreed to do at least 3 things for these. So I might reach the end, but please help me welcome Tammy. No, I enjoy hearing from her today.
What a beautiful room of beautiful people. Good afternoon. It is such an honor to stand before you today, to look around this room, and I see powerful, driven, resilient women. Women who are building businesses, creating opportunities, and making an impact. And yet, I know the weight that comes with that journey. The late nights, the moments of doubt, the times you've wondered, is it worth it? I'm here to tell you, it absolutely is. Because what we build isn't just about us. It's about our families, our communities, and the generations that will walk through doors we kicked open. Yep. It's about legacy. That's why we're here today, to talk about how we create a lasting legacy. A legacy that is built on people, on impact, community, equity, and integrity. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what we achieve. It's about who we lift up along the way. Before I ever led a company, before I ever stepped in the pulpit, before I ever knew what legacy meant, I was just a little girl from Charleston, South Carolina. Anybody been to Charleston? All right. It's a charming city known of its rich history, unique culture, amazing culinary scene, beautiful beaches, and Southern hospitality. I was the eldest child of 3, born Clary and Patsy Butler. My father is a pastor, go figure, and former owner of WMCJ Radio. My mother is now a retired phlebotomist from Roche after 36 years. As her knee became tender, my dad offered to drive her to work so that she would be able to get her full retirement. She went from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina to west of the Ashley, typically a 30-minute ride. He started out packing her lunch. Anybody have somebody pack their lunch? Okay, my dad, that kind of guy. Shortly thereafter, my dad realized that she had eaten her lunch prior to lunch. So he decided that he would pack her breakfast. So now she will have breakfast and she will have lunch. I guess that's all part of being married for 50 years. If anyone in this audience is a firstborn child, can I see firstborn child? Okay. You probably understand the weight, the expectations that come with that. Because my siblings were significantly younger, I had more responsibilities. I had more expectations that were placed on me. So anytime I could get a break from home, I would, and especially on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, my grandfather, who owned quick service barbershop, any barbers in the room, any stylists in the room? Oh, y'all can't sleep on the barbers. Okay, all right. He was catering to the Charleston sailors and rarely left his shop. He would gather all of the grandkids, my brother and my cousins, and in his brown 1970 Cadillac, featuring a 7.7-liter V8 engine with 375 horsepower. Okay, all right. I have no idea what that means. Someone will have to educate me later. However, I do know that it was his car and on only for Wednesdays and Sundays, meaning he drove it Wednesdays and Sundays. Now, we're not ever going anywhere fancy. Our Wednesday rides would consist of several stops and preparations. One of our stops would be to visit widows, women who had lost their husbands, women who were aging, women who needed someone to see them. We carried bags of groceries up to the porches. Sometimes he tucked a little cash in that bag. And then we'd get back in the car and we would go to the next stop. At the time, I'll be honest, I was heading for the Krispy Kreme. We usually got that at the end of the trip, especially when the hot light was on. Do I have any hot light people in the room? All right, okay, we're warming up, But over time, something shifted in me. I realized it wasn't about the food we got, it was about the presence we gave, the people we honored, and the pride we helped restore. I didn't learn generosity in textbooks. I didn't learn compassion in a classroom. I learned it in real time, riding with my grandfather, my brother, and my cousins. We were being taught how to see people, how to serve people, how to honor people. Because no matter their background, no matter their pain, people deserve to know they are seen. That lesson has never left me. In fact, it is the foundation of how I lead today. When we built Engaging Solutions, we didn't inherit a business model. We inherited a mindset, a commitment to people. We still talk about and walk it out after 20 years later. When we have a profit, we tie back into the community. We look for organizations to be able to invest in, to help them grow, to help them create sustainability in our communities. Because people are the point. People are not the byproduct of leadership, they are the purpose of leadership. Honoring people is where legacy starts, but impact is where legacy expands. I learned about impact from another powerful person in my family, my maternal grandmother. My maternal grandmother, her name is Coralie Swint. She was the essence of beauty, and let me tell you, she can cook a pot of collard greens with a little bit of neck in there, and it is so good. You'll have to figure out the neck part. She worked at the Charleston Naval Base doing laundry to help take care of her family, a job she did with pride. One day, her supervisor offered her a ride home. But when they pulled up to her house she owned with my grandfather, something changed. The next day, she was fired. Not because she was late, not because she made a mistake, but because a Black woman owning a home in that neighborhood didn't sit right with her supervisor during those times. She didn't get an explanation. She didn't get a warning. She just got dismissed. But here's what she didn't do. She didn't let it break her. She didn't give up. She simply figured out another way to provide for her family. How many of you in the room have had to make an alternative, to come up with something different when what you were expecting didn't work out? So every summer, after she was fired, my grandmother and one of my aunts would travel to New York City to clean houses. They scrubbed floors, washed linen, saved every dollar they could so that they could hold on to that house. That house became a home for 8 children, raised in love, faith, and dignity. She made an impact with her endurance. She made an impact with her faith. She made an impact with every sacrifice that gave her children a better life. And here's what I've come to believe. The world may try to define you by what you get, but your legacy will be built by what you refuse to give up. Some of you in this room know what it feels like to be underestimated, to be the only one in the room, to be told that you're not enough and that you don't belong. Let me speak directly to your spirit. Your value, your worth is not up for negotiation. You're not here by accident. You were born to build. And your impact, it doesn't have to be loud to be lasting. It's important for us to know and to understand that there's this book that I have. And this book that I have, I study often. It has like 66 other books that are within that book. Pretty sure. And it says, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. I want you to know your light is not too much. It's not too bright. It's not too bold. Shine. Turn your light on. Be able to build those things that you already envisioned, those things that you desire that are in your heart and that you feel and know you have the pressure to just jump in. It's important for us to know that we can shine, we can build, we can make a difference. Because when it's all said and done, impact isn't measured by headlines or hashtags. It is measured by the lives we touch, the hope you restore, and the obstacles you overcome. If impact is how we change lives, then community is where that change takes root. When I began pastoring on Spofield Avenue, everything I thought I knew about leadership was tested. Not only was it tested, it was transformed. This wasn't a glamorous platform. This was the front line of real life. Mothers trying to keep their jobs while navigating public transportation. Women deciding between buying groceries and paying the electric bill. Families one emergency away from falling through the cracks. And I saw something deeper than need. I saw fight, I saw faith, and I saw women holding their families and their dignity together with both hands. They didn't need charity, they needed consistency. They needed someone to say, you matter. I want you to know as we sit here in this room today, you matter. It's important for us to know and to understand that that is who we are. That it is important for us to understand that not only do we matter, but we are in this together. That's when it hit me. Leadership isn't just about visibility. It's also about availability. Businesses can't be disconnected from the community. We can't serve people on a spreadsheet. We serve them by showing up. I've seen what happens when we do. At Engaging Solutions, community is not a department, it's our DNA. We don't wait for the world to change. We invest in the people that would change the world. And we do it because we believe what this book says. Seek the peace and prosperity of the city to which I have carried you. Because if it prospers, you too will prosper. So let me ask you, are you investing in the city where you're planted? Are you sowing into your neighborhood, your school, your block? Because prosperity is communal, not competitive. Do you want your business to thrive? If you want that, then make sure your community is thriving too. Equity is how we make sure everyone has a chance to grow. Equity is really personal for me. It's generational. It lives in the voice of my grandmother, the one who lost her job because of where she lived. Lydia Grant never lost her vision for what could be. She was my paternal grandmother. She didn't dwell on what was taken. Instead, she looked forward and she looked us in the eye and said, buy land. Has anyone else gotten that before? Okay. My grandmother believed deeply in the power of ownership. She was a seamstress, a businesswoman, and a mother who knew how to discard furniture and turn it into a masterpiece. She could do the same with land, she said. She said it over and over and over again. Buy land along Savannah Highway in Charleston, South Carolina. Back then, it was just a road and some bushes. She encouraged us to buy real estate when lots were as low as $1,000. Anybody remember those times? And she didn't just talk about it, she what? Lived it. As she lived it, today those same roads are lined with Whole Foods, Mercedes-Benz facilities, and high-end developments. She saw what we couldn't see. Yet, and she tried to show us how to invest in more than just the moment. When I was a little girl, she would take me on driving trips from New York to Florida. And let me let you know, we had to be all dressed up to get in the car to go on that trip. Back then, I didn't know she was teaching me to see what's ahead. We were thinking about the now, but she was thinking about the next. She wasn't waiting for equity, she was making it. Her story shaped mine. She taught me that ownership is power. When we own something, land, business, our voice, we don't just exist in the system, we influence it, we protect it, we pass it on. That's why equity isn't just something I talk about. It's something I live. And now as women, we get to carry the torch forward for our daughters, our communities, and our future. But how many of us are still waiting on permission to show up? How many of us are wondering if we're worthy of a seat at the table? Let me say this loud and clear. No one is coming to give you access. You've already been equipped to take it, and not just for yourself. Because equity isn't about how far you go. It's about how many doors you leave open behind you. It's about seeing barriers, not as walls to avoid, but as systems to dismantle. It's about making sure the policies we create, the platforms we build, and the partnerships we enter into don't just reflect our values, but they redistribute power. That's called equity in action, justice, mercy, humility. So ask yourself, and this is an opportunity for you to engage with your table. We're going to have a 2-minute break for discussion. The first question is, are you just rising or are you raising others? Give yourselves a round of applause.
Baby, yeah, being able to sow that seed into someone else.
Equity means legacy. Legacy with a purpose. It also means lifting those as you leave and leaving space behind for others to lead to. I want to talk a little bit about integrity, because when you think about integrity, leadership is rooted in truth and in faith. This is amazing. You all went quiet. All right. And it's just measured by what you do when things are good. It's revealed by who you are when everything goes wrong. Let me be honest. Integrity will cost you something. It's not always the easiest path, but it's always the right one. I've walked away from contracts that just didn't feel right. I've made decisions that weren't popular, but they were principled. And at every turn, I held tight to the truth. Your name is your legacy, and how you carry it, it matters. Every year, the partners of Engaging Solutions would take an annual planning trip. One year, we traveled to St. Martin. I think, Patty, you have to see a picture. Okay. A beautiful place to retreat, recharge, and dream about the future. The weather was perfect until it wasn't. Suddenly, the forecast shifted. The rain started pounding, the wind howled, the calm turned to chaos, and we were stuck. We were stuck in the middle of a natural disaster. Phone lines were jammed, the airport was demolished. I'm telling you the truth. We didn't know how or if we were going to get off that island. We were stranded. But that moment taught me something more about leadership and relationships than any title I ever held. What got us out was integrity. It wasn't money. It wasn't panic. It was trust. Trust that had been built over years of honesty and relationships. Jessica Nicoloy from the National Association of Women Business Owners, Indianapolis, called to check on us while we were stranded. Jennifer King from the Novel Governmental Affairs stepped in and started making calls fast. Congresswoman Susan Brooks became involved. And then the former Vice President of the United States, Mike, has elevated the urgency of the situation. And then a small craft swooped in and airlifted us off of the island. We didn't just get out because we were lucky. We got out because people trusted us enough to act. And that trust, that influence, it was built over years of being who we said we were, consistently. Of telling the truth, doing right by others, and honoring our word when no one else is watching. Integrity is the compass that leads you where the map no longer makes sense. It keeps your name clean. your influence strong, your legacy whole. When we finally got to Puerto Rico, we were safe, but we were sure enough shaken. Our luggage soaked, our clothes mildewed and smelly. And you know what? None of it mattered. Because in that moment, we realized stuff fades, status fades, storms come, but integrity lasts. And here's what I learned. We weren't just responsible for getting ourselves out. We kept praying for those that were left behind. We checked on them. We donated. We stayed connected. Because you don't leave others behind when you're lifted. Not if you're walking in integrity. So I'll ask you, when the winds start to blow, can your leadership withstand the storm? We'll give you 2 minutes to turn back to your table and talk among yourself and give examples of storm-proof leadership. Can your influence be used not just to elevate yourself? Can your influence be used not just to elevate yourself, but to save others? Share examples of how you've elevated others around you. Integrity isn't optional, it's essential. It's what makes your leadership real, your voice credible, your legacy unshakable. Let's not just do the right thing when it's easy. Let's do the right thing when it's costly, when it's hard. Today we have a closing call to action. We want you to be able to step into your power. So here's my challenge to you. There are signs that should be sitting at your table.
Yeah.
Okay. Once again, I'm going to ask you to select a table captain. All right. Forget the captains. We're all on equal ground. Whoever gets the sign and has the sign, you are the captain. All right, so here's my challenge to you. And I'm going to ask a series of questions. And if your answer is actually yes, then hold up your sign for your table. So you may want to, since you have some renegade captains in the room, make sure that there has been a consensus that has been built. Question number 1, will you commit? All right, we're going back to captains. Okay, Bon Borsar, will you commit? Will you commit to lifting others as one? Yes. Will you commit to making an impact even when it's hard? Yes. Will you commit to standing on integrity? Yes. Because your legacy is not just about what you build. It's about who you become. Yes. You have been given vision, strength, purpose. So today, I challenge you. Step boldly into your power. Lead with faith, build with intention, and never forget you are creating a legacy. Thank you.